Okay, so for today, we're dealing with graphing and writing equations of a circle. I'm trying this on a iPad app, so hopefully this works and it allows me to do some things from home and also has the nice graphing feature. But just as a quick review, I mean, the reason we talked about the distance formula with the Pythagorean theorem is we talked about that first is because it's going to help us with the equation of a circle. And if you just think about a circle, we all kind of know it's basically you have, a center and then you have a radius and then it's all the points that have that same radius. I mean, that's kind of what a circle is. So now we're just trying to put some kind of mathematical language around it. So let's say that our center was right here at the origin, just to keep it easy. And we had a point on the circle that was over here. Let's say it's over here at the point x, y. And so this right here is my radius r. Well, I could draw a circle, not a great one, but doing the best I can, going around here. And I could have a bunch of points. Here's a point, x, y, all over. Here's a point, x, y. And at any point, we'll go back to our original one. At any point, you could see we've got kind of a right triangle going in the x direction, and then up here in the y direction. And so we could, if we use Pythagorean theorem, we then have an equation that would be x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Again, hopefully you can see, maybe if I do it a different color, this is the right triangle. Here's in my x direction. Here's my y direction. This is a right angle. Hypotenuse is r. You get the idea. Now, that's great, and that's basically an equation for a circle when the center is at the origin, all right, when it's here at 0, 0. But what if we were to move it around? Let's draw another circle down here. And let's just say that we moved now our center. Remember, the center is just a point, so we could call it HK if you wanted to. It could be any two numbers. Let's pick the point 2, 3. Well, this is now our center, and the radius, remember, is a distance. In this case, let's choose the radius of 2. So we're going to, I'm just going to erase this. Whoops, I'm sorry. Oh boy. Erase that. Go back to this. So we have a radius of 2, which means I have a point there, a point there, a point here, and a point here. And again, I could sketch a circle around here. And in this case, my center in this example was 2, 3. And since we moved it over to the right and up 3, we have an adjustment to make when we move it, which is to say, now we've kind of shifted it, so we go x minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared still equals r squared. Okay, now again, that's for any point where the center is hk. So it's x minus the x value and y minus the y value. You can see here when it's in quadrant 1 where both my x and y are positive, it kind of looks like this, x minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared. You can imagine if the point was maybe the center was over here at the point 4, negative 3. Well, what would that look like? Well, again, this is h and this is k. So now we'd have x, and let's just assume that we similarly have a radius of 2. So radius of 2, we're kind of going around like that. We have x minus 4 squared. Now this is where it gets tricky. It's y minus k. Well, k is negative 3. So minus a negative 3 squared equals r squared. And that would just write as x minus 4 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals r squared. Okay, so our general form for a circle with a center, where the center is hk, we in a radius of r is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Okay, let's take another look with some actual problems knowing that formula. So what if we said something like this: write an equation of a circle with a center is at 2, -3, and let's say the radius is 3 feet, or 3 units. Let's just use units. Remember, radius is a distance, center is a point. Well, we know from our formula we would just be x minus 2 squared plus y minus the -3 squared equals, this is my radius, so I need to square my radius. So I'd have x minus 2 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 9. Okay. What if we were given this? What if we were given x plus 8 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 81? And we were asked to find what is the center, question mark, and what is the radius, question mark. Well, we look at that. Remember, it's x minus h. So this, since this is positive 8, the center is going to be at -8, and this is y minus k, so y minus 2, so that must be 2. This is, remember, this equals the radius squared, so r equals √81, which is 9. So this is my center, and my radius, my center is at -8, 2, and my radius here is 9. Okay, let's try a few more problems. Let's see here. What if they said graph this, x minus 3 squared plus y plus 5 squared equals 36. When we graph, the first thing to find is the center. So number 1, find the center. And number 2, find the radius. And then we can go from there. So the key is to find the center. Well, again, it's x minus k, so h, sorry. So my center is at 3, and this is minus a -5. So this must be -5. And my radius, if this equals r squared, then r equals square root of 36, which is 6. So, I'm sorry, my radius is 6. So I found my center, and I found my radius. It's right here. So how would I graph that? So I need to go, isn't enough space. I need to go center 3 and -5. So 1, 2, 3, -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's my center. My graph, unfortunately, is going to go off the page here. But my radius is 6. So what I do is count up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a point. Over 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's a point. And then somewhere down here is a point. And then just kind of sketch the circle from there. Okay. Maybe try one more, if we can. What if I gave you something that looked like this? And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my radius. Or rather, my center. So I'm graphing a circle. I graph the center, and I've graphed these 2 points, and you can kind of tell what the radius is. I'm not trying to trick anybody here, right? We can see kind of what that value is of r. So I first find the center. The center is back 3, -3, 1, 2, 3, 4, up 4, so -3, 4. And my radius is clearly 2. So then my formula would become x minus that. So x minus negative 3. This is where the most common mistakes will happen. Plus y minus 4 squared equals 2 squared. This then becomes x plus 3 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 4. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, we have a formula that says x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, where my center is the point hk and my radius is just r. Let us know if you have any questions. Thanks.